What is up, people? My name is Shoquafina, and I'm your coach of the Lake Huron Lanturns here in Week 6 of the GPL as we build our team to go up against Dada Habib and his team, the New Hampshire Needle Kings. If you guys are excited for this battle video, please leave a like down below and subscribe to make sure you can be notified when that battle comes out. But let's just jump right into this. He has a pretty good team, a lot of big threats. Leading off his team is the Mega Lopunny, which is one of the best megas in the format. So fast, it's really hard. There's not one Pokemon in the entire game that can resist both of its stab moves. Things like Fake Out, Return, High Jump Kick. This thing just hits so hard. It gets coverage with some elemental punches as well, so this thing can actually tear holes through teams. So as you can see through my team, I have prepared for it fairly well. Also, he has the Clefable, which can be very dangerous if it is a setup Clefable. He has Azelf, which is pretty good just for support utility reasons. I don't really expect the Azelf though. He has Haxorus, which could be a big problem. If I didn't have my Puff Daddy here, which was part Fairy, then him Scarf Outrage could put in a lot of work. D-Dance Lumberry could put in a lot of work, or even D-Dance Life Orb could be very problematic for my team, so that thing could definitely hurt me a lot. The Registeel, I have a couple of things to deal with that. Sand Slash, which is one of his only forms of hazard removal, so I'm expecting the Sand Slash, to be honest with you. Meowstick, which can just be there for prankster shenanigans. He has Volcanion, which is a big threat. This thing is a Fire Water type, the only Fire Water type in the game. Water Absorb ability, so I can't really touch it with water. I can't touch it at all with water type attacks, so you'll see how I prepared for that with my Vaporeon. Also, Steam Eruption, which is pretty much a Hydro Pump plus a Scald. It's really a dangerous move. It can rip holes through any Pokemon. So I had to bring Vaporeon this week just so I could switch in on those Steam Eruptions and just absorb them. So it's going to be a problem. I can't let it do much to me. I have to attack it when it's in front of me. I can't really predict it switching out because this thing is just such a big threat. I don't want anything of mine getting burned. So he also has a Fat Fish. I'm not expecting that Fat Fish. Golbat, which is his only other form of hazard removal. With the Sand Slash, this thing gets Defog. I'm really not expecting the Golbat, to be honest with you guys. I'm expecting the Sand Slash more than the Golbat. And he also has Gourgeist, which is that grass and ghost type Pokemon there. So I see him needing to bring two Pokemon. That's the Lopunny and the Volcanion. Those are must brings in my opinion. And there's two others that I think he should bring, but not necessarily will. That's the Clefable and the Haxorus. Other than those four, I'm just preparing for everything else on his team, obviously, because he could really bring anything. There's some things I don't expect, like the Gourgeist or the Fish, but he could bring those anyway, so I have to prepare for them as well. So let's jump right into my team here. We have my Scolipede, Petey, Life Orb, Speed Boost, Mega Horn, Poison Jab, Protect, and Earthquake. Max Attack, Adamant, Max Speed. Just really standard late game sweeper Scolipede. Not really much to say about it. Next we have my Hitmonlee, Pumped Up Kicks here, Unburdened, Normal Gem, Fake Out with the Close Combat, Knockoff, and Poison Jab there for just coverage. This is kind of a check to Mega Lopunny because I can come in, Fake Out, get my Unburdened boost, outspeed it, and kill it with a CC. I don't want to take a hit with this thing though from a Lopunny, so it might have to be a late game thing. After I get my Unburdened though, this thing just rips through his entire team with Close Combat and Poison Jab for the Clefable. So yeah, this thing's going to do a lot of work this week. I can already feel it. And he's going to just start kicking things. Max Attack, Adamant, same spread as the Scolipede, as you can see here. So I have two physical sweepers. And we have our Puff Daddy here. I was going to be defensive Dragon Dance, but I felt like I already had, with my two physical sweepers here, I didn't want to give myself another physical sweeper. So I decided to go max physical defense, bold nature, max HP, and then put the rest in special attack. Hyper Voice, Fire Blast, Roost, and Heal Bell. Hyper Voice is there just because it's my hardest hitting move. It's fairy type. It wrecks a lot of the Pokemon on his team. Fire Blast is there for the Registeel and for Gourgeist and whatever else won't want to take a fire type move. And Roost obviously for sustainability, so I can stick around the match. And Heal Bell as well, so I can heal up anything that gets burned by a Steam Eruption. I am max physical defense, so I can take a hit from the Lopunny and then KO it with a Hyper Voice if I need to. a crit return does like 50%, a little bit over 50%. So yeah, this thing can take a hit and then just destroy his face. I can roost off most of that damage. So this thing is my switch into low punny pretty much every time. And speaking of switch-ins, GPL's Reckoning here, my Heatran, Flash Fire, Leftovers, almost max special defense, Lava Plume, Flash Cannon, Earth Power, Stealth Rock here. This thing is my switch-in 1,000,000% of the time to Clefable. I have just enough special attack here to put in a little bit more work than I usually would with things like Flash Cannon and the Lava Plume and the Earth Power. Earth Power is there pretty much specifically for the Volcanion because my other two moves don't really hit it very well. Earth Power hits it super effectively. So Stealth Rock's going to be very important in this match. Just getting rid of any sashes. If he brings the Azelf, that thing could be Sash Explosion. Does 25% to Volcanion, does 25% to the Golbat. It lets me check and see what ability the Clefable has. If it takes rocks damage, I know what ability it is. So this thing's actually going to be a very important mon this week. Heatran is. Up next is our wall breaker this week. That is our Crobat. Choice Band, Inner Focus there. I don't want to flinch with a fake out from the low punny. We have Brave Bird, U-Turn, Super Fang, and Defog. I have just enough speed at max speed Jolly to outspeed a max speed Timid Scarf Volcanion. So I outspeed it by 1 point. Max speed Timid Scarf Volcanion. And Brave Bird's going to do a tremendous amount of damage to that thing. Brave Bird just destroys his entire team, barring something like Registeel, which I don't really think he's going to bring anyway. This is my dedicated lead right now. If he wants to lead low punny and thinks he can fake me out, maybe he thinks I have Infiltrator as my ability instead. Brave Bird will just straight up knock it out. It also does so much work to the rest of his team, like I already stated. It can almost OHKO. Well, it does OHKO the Azelf. I think it does over half to Volcanion. It does over half to Clefable. So and since I'm outspeeding everything anyway, this thing's just going to rip through things, basically. This is my wall breaker, if I didn't already say that. And finally, we have my Vaporeon. Kind of a weird EV spread here. I'll explain that. Leftovers and Water Absorb just so I can stick around. Water Absorb is obviously there for Steam Eruption, as stated. We have Scald because I don't get Steam Eruption. Hidden Power Electric is there for the Volcanion. This does about half to him. After Rocks, I'm guaranteed to two-hit KO, which is fantastic. The only coverage moves Volcanion really gets, other than Steam Eruption, would be like Fire Blast, Earth Power, and I think like Sludge Bomb or something. None of those are going to want to do too much to me because I just have so much bulk. As you can see here, I'm running 248 HP, which brings me at a very impressive 463. And with my Wish here, I can stick around for as long as I, wish. 96 in my physical defense because it's my weaker of my defenses. I wanted to buff it up a little bit. 164 modest in my special attack. 325 special attack. That's a good amount of special attack, and that's not even fully invested. So Hidden Power Electric is there to two-hit KO Volcanion after Stealth Rock switch-ins, and depending on his spread, it would actually two-hit KO Scarf Volcanion if he's not, Scarf Volcanion, because he'd be invested in speed, not HP. So if he's not invested in HP at all, this thing two-hit KOs it. If he is max HP, it has a chance to, I believe. It's pretty close, but after Stealth Rocks, it 100% does. So that's our Vaporeon this week. It's here as our check to Volcanion, if it comes down to that. And yes, like I said, Stealth Rock's going to be very important this week to make sure I wear down a lot of his things, make sure he can't switch around on me. And my dedicated lead this week is, of course, the Crobat. So you turn out on things since I'm faster than everything anyway. And yeah, that's all this week, guys. Thanks for watching. My name's Shoquafina. I'm the coach of your Lake Huron Lanturns. I'll see you in the battle. I'm out.